Gentlemen, today we are going to have a general discussion about the psychology and the sociology behind the collapse of modern marriage. So, some of you may not know, but we are at the cusp of the post marriage era, which is going to, futurology say it's going to be officially from 2030. So, marriage rates have been declining steadily in the recent past, in the past few decades. Of course, divorce rates are also declining because few people are getting married. And with the Gen Z generation coming up, this decline is going to be even become more steep. So let's begin with a sobering truth, gentlemen. Marriage, which was once the cornerstone of civilization, is on life support, and marriage trends are steadily declining globally. What we are witnessing is not an isolated social trend. It is a cultural and a psychological revolution that has redefined how men and women relate to each other. The vows are the same, but the spirit behind them has changed. In the 1950s, marriage was about duty, complementarity, and family. But in 2025, what we are seeing is that marriage has been changed and it is now about convenience, validation, and optics. The man once sought a wife. Now he negotiates with a brand. So these are the days of our lives, and these are the challenges we have to deal with. So the question, gentlemen, is what happened? We want to look through what happened that has affected marriage, that has put it on the ICU. So we want to peel back the layers through psychology, sociology, and red pill philosophy. So we want to look at the feminine shift that moved from equality to entitlement. So when early feminism fought for women's rights, we had the rights for education, property, and voting. And this served its justice. But as Christina Hoff Sommers tells us in the book Who Stole Feminism, modern feminism has metastatized from a movement of liberation to one of entitlement or resentment. Instead of equality, it now preaches entitlement without responsibility. The "you go girl" mantra morphed into a cultural immunity shield where women are told they can do no wrong, and when they do, society applauds their truth. Accountability, once a soul of maturity, has been replaced by emotional validation. And as a result, women are encouraged to be promiscuous in the name of sexual liberation and to divorce if they are not happy. They are also told to chase the bag, and we know that, for example, Lori Harvey has become a role model. Gabrielle Union admits that she felt entitled to cheat. She cheated on her husband, and she said she was entitled to cheat because she was the one paying the bills. And the crowd cheers. Okay? There is a psychologist called Nathaniel Branden who warned in The Psychology of Self-Esteem that when self-worth is detached from responsibility, narcissism blooms. The feminist culture fertilized it. The second thing is that the second thing that caused this decline in modern marriage was economic empowerment and emotional poverty. So it's not wealth that killed marriage. It is what wealth did to power dynamics. When women began to earn their own money, the better provisioning role that men used to perform became redundant. And in theory, this should have fostered mutual respect. In practice, it created resentment. And many women still expect men to pay the bills. His money is ours and my money is mine. Remember that phrase. Many women still expect the men to pay the bills while they keep their own personal indulgence. Okay? My money is mine. Studies by the Pew Research in 2023, Pew Research Center 2023 studies indicate that 61% of married women in dual income households still expect their husbands to be the main providers. And this asymmetry, it turns marriage into a zero-sum game, okay, where the modern wife sees herself as a partner, in quotes, but not a follower. She sees herself as a contributor, but not as a helper. So Rollo tells us in Rational Male that men are expected to perform like traditional providers, but while the women demand privileges of independence. So the men are supposed to provide the same way they used to provide like traditional men, but the modern women don't want to perform traditional roles. Responsibility without authority is slavery, gentlemen. You already know this. And many men are waking up to that truth. That is why many men are saying now that marriage has no benefit for men. You perform the traditional responsibilities without the traditional benefits. No loyalty, no respect. You're marrying a woman who has been run through by other men. She's not submissive, she's combative, and the money she makes, she does not want to help you. She acts as a contributor and she wants to be a partner. She wants to have equal say, but she does not want to take equal responsibility. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it. When you subscribe, you'll always be notified when I drop new content. Also, when you like and share, you help this channel to grow, and more importantly, you help other men to discover the tools that they need to level up. So remember, when one man rises, we all rise. Now let's get back to the video. The third aspect that is making marriage die today is sexual power and the new double standard. So marriage was built on reciprocity. And this is that the man provides and she nurtures. Today it is open-ended on one side and it is closed on the other. Social media has weaponized female attention. Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans allow women to collect digital validation like currency. The modern wife doesn't need to cheat publicly or physically. She gets dopamine highs from virtual lust. Okay? So the women continue entertaining male attention even as they are married. But the men cannot do that. They'll be told they are cheating. And men also, of course, don't thrive on attention. The men would like to rather have sex because they are biological imperative to spread their seeds. But that involves more than just social media. In Mating in Captivity, Esther Perel says that we live in a romantic culture that craves both security and freedom, two needs that cancel each other out. Meanwhile, men are still constrained by the rules of monogamy. The man is expected to provide love, loyalty, and leadership, but he must compete against the collective male attention of the internet. The result of this, 1 in 4 marriages are sexless, according to the National Library of Medicine. 1 in 4 marriages are sexless. And 80%, in 80% of those cases, it is a wife who withholds intimacy. Men are starved physically while being required to feed emotionally and financially. The fourth blow that is killing marriage is a cult of happiness. And in the cult of happiness, which comes with the death of duty, modern culture tells women that they can live if they are not happy. But gentlemen, happiness is transient. It's not supposed to be a permanent situation or condition. Whereas happiness is transient, commitment is not. There is a psychologist called Martin Seligman who wrote a book called Authentic Happiness. He notes that emotional fulfillment comes not from pleasure, but from purpose. And yet our culture has trained women to chase feelings instead of building empires or legacies. And that is why 70 to 80% of women file for divorce. Okay? American Sociological Review gives us these statistics. In many cases, women leave their marriages not because of abuse, but because they are bored. They say they are not happy anymore. They live with incentives: the house, the children, child support, and often a share of the man's assets. Family court does not punish irresponsibility, it subsidizes it. So this is why divorce rates are increasing. Women are incentivized to get divorced. So gentlemen, I'll ask, what kind of social contract can survive when one side has exit options without consequence? Tell me. The fourth reason why marriage is dying is the consumerization of womanhood. Capitalism realized something powerful, and that is that single women spend more. There's a Morgan Stanley report that did a survey on U.S. retail, that was done by U.S. retail analyst Lauren Cassell in 2019. He predicted that by 2030, 45% of working age women will be single. Okay? So Lauren Casey did this Morgan Stanley report, and it was based on US retail analysis. And she says that by 2030, 45% of working age women will be single. This report, it noted that single women outspend average households in categories like luxury goods, travel, and personal care. In other words, feminism became good for business. The more emotionally unanchored women are, the more they consume. So this is from cosmetic surgeries to self-care, retreats. Capitalism profits from female loneliness. So songs like Single Ladies by Beyonce and Independent Women, these were not empowerment programs. They were marketing jingles dressed as ideology. The sixth reason why marriage is declining and dying is because women are trained for work, not for marriage. So modern women are trained and educated for careers, not for cooperation. They graduate with degrees, not with relational intelligence. And the clinical psychologist called Jordan Peterson, he has repeatedly emphasized that marriage requires sacrifice and structure, not just passion. But most modern women have been conditioned to resist submission as oppression, even though healthy submission is an act of trust, not slavery. Hence, we now have a generation of women who are fit for the workplace but unfit for marriage. They are competitive, they are independent, and emotionally untrained to build a family. The result of this: delayed marriages, declining birth rates, and the result of antidepressants and pet ownership as substitutes for family life. Many single women nowadays use cats and dogs as surrogate husbands. Okay? Some even use stuffed dolls. The seventh reason why marriage is on the decline is because accountability and the masculine response. So, gentlemen, you cannot control the tide, but you can build stronger boats. The world is changing, but male sovereignty must not die with it. And that's one of the reasons why I started this particular YouTube channel or podcast. So, you are required not to hate women, but you are required to understand women. You must understand female nature. And one of the things we normally say is that once you understand women, you stop resenting them and you start leading them. So what must men do considering the foregoing? So this is our challenge, or my challenge to men. The first thing you have to do is you need to delay marriage until you fully understand its legal and psychological risks. Consult older men and lawyers, not influencers and pastors. Okay? The second thing you have to do is you need to build yourself first. Your mission precedes your marriage. Develop your finances, your body, and your mind, and have a strong masculine frame. The third thing you need to do is you need to learn female nature, understand hypergamy, preselection, all these female characteristics. Because women mastered men long before men understood themselves. Read, observe, and discern. The fourth thing you must do is you need to stay or get unplugged. Build your sovereignty, both spiritual, financial, and sexual. Never let validation from women define your worth. And here is the hard truth. The post-marriage era is already here. But the death of the institution does not have to mean the death of masculinity. In every collapse, a new order is born. The question is, will you be the man who complains or the man who rebuilds? So reflect on this. Give me your comments below. Have you ever experienced the effects of modern shift in your relationships? Are most of your friends getting divorced or are they getting married? Okay? What lessons have you drawn as a man from navigating this era? So speak your truth, not your feelings, and not your illusions or your fears. Iron sharpens iron. So let me get your feelings and thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.